up to the boys. Fox and Shane, set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but a penny town red. Can't let that shit down in my head, war gaming.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Hobby Homies. Today, I, Shane, am sitting with Lachlan, the creator of Wartide. Lachlan has been a friend of mine since primary school.
Yep.
Been a long time. Very long time. Yep.
Can't get rid of you.
You could try. You could try. So Lachlan has created a game called Wartide. We've talked about it on the show before. But before we get stuck into what Wartide is, Lachlan, I want to know about yourself and about your tabletop gaming life, hobby, all that kind of stuff.
Sure. I've jumped around a fair few different games and stuff. Back like early day, like all the crappy kids games in Monopolies and Snakes and Ladders.
Yeah.
And then as I was getting into high school, got into 40K a little bit. Had a bit of an ultramarine army.
Nice.
And then I realized that that's really expensive and I didn't have a job. So that, and also painting's a lot of work when you're, 13.
Yep.
So I had a shoebox full of unpainted minis that sat there and came out every couple of years for a game.
Nice.
After high school, started getting to uni, and started finding local game stores down at local Good Games and Guff, and started getting into some Magic, into a bit of role playing games. Played a lot of Legend of Five Rings role playing game.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty sick, Samurai and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I know you got a bit of a fan base for around here.
Yes, yes. Test of Honor was, very popular.
And then from there, started playing a bit of Magic, a bit of War Machine, and then started kind of making games instead of playing them as much.
Nice, nice. Before you get into making games, now I remember maybe grade 4 or grade 5, you had a birthday party, which was probably the first experience I have of a role-playing game. It was a Dracula or a vampire thing, and it was like
How to host a murder party in a box, like
kind,
playing game in a box thing.
And
I
for the longest time, I was like, I've never played an RPG before, but now I think back, I did years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 11th, 10th or 10th birthday party.
Yeah. I just remember you and Churchy were there.
Yeah.
Because I remember the two of you both had no idea. The whole idea was you had to work out who did the kill, who was the murderer.
Yeah.
And you and Churchy were just like, fuck, I don't know. We're going to blame that guy. And you couldn't justify it at all. And everyone else had good reasons for who they claimed. And you two were fucking right.
It's like, he looks shady. He did it.
Yeah. I'd forgotten all about that. Yeah. That was probably one of my first role-playing experiences as well.
Yep.
That was a good night.
Oh, yeah. That was the first experience of an RPG. And it came back to me a little while ago. I was thinking about it. I'm like, shit, I have to ask him about it, but on the podcast. So,
okay.
Yep.
Yeah. That's taking me back a bit.
Bit of a trip down memory lane. That's it. So tell us, before Wartide, what had you developed other games? Had you created anything before?
I mucked around and made some a couple little mini board games and stuff, and growing up, and I always back in high school assignment of make a board game for something I always got way too into and stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing major. I took a shot at writing a role playing game book and then was like, oh, that's really big.
Yep.
I gave up on that. But yeah, I've been interested in game design and fiddled around and stuff, but this is by far the most complete kind. I've not made anything nearly as kind of complete or polished or anything like that before.
Yep.
But yeah, there's a shoebox of failed game designs that I have stashed somewhere that you will never find.
Yeah. I feel like most people that have done that or started writing an RPG have just a backlog of stuff that's we'll never see the daylight again.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Can't throw it away, but it stays in the shoebox under the bed or the back of the closet or something like that.
Yep. There was definitely ideas that were great on paper that maybe I'll find a way to solve them one day.
Yep. Nice. Nice. Well, tell me about Wartide. So, how long have you been creating Wartide for?
So, I've been saying 10 years, but then I realized I've been saying that for a while. So, by my guess, I'm about 12 or 13 years into
Okay.
development now
Yep.
from the very origins. That being said, there's quite a few years in that where it was in the shoebox under the bed as well and didn't get seen for extended periods.
Yeah.
So, it's not 12, we'll call it 12 years, but it's not 12 years of constant development.
Yep.
But the last few years have been like pretty heavy work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll say 8 years pottering, 4 years of actual work.
and pottering involves bringing it out every now and then and
Yeah.
trying something and maybe fixing a bug that you had and then coming across something new and then going, nah, too much.
Well,
Back in the box.
Very original versions, it was a very different kind of game.
Yep.
It started off as a game about trying to manage supply lines to a front line in a trench warfare.
Okay, all right. Fox would be all over that. Logistics, I know, is his jam. He doesn't care about the combat. It's like, how can I get the ammunition from the from the depot to the front line?
All right. Well, if I can find my very original cards,
Yep.
I can kill Fox's love for logistics with that
Okay,
abomination.
Yeah, yeah.
But it started with that and then kind of found its footing, got the very basics of it, and then for quite a while I was trying to work out how to balance just some very basic couple of decks and then expanding out and trying to work out how deck creation could work and it seems real easy and simple when you're playing a game and then you try and actually build it from scratch and there's a lot of stuff and a lot of decisions that need to be made along the way.
Yep.
Creating it the first year or two was just to get it to a playable alpha kind of thing, and then from there to something that was a not crap playable alpha, and then to expand out to be deck building to card variety to more factions to everything else.
Yep. Nice. What led you to the path of having a deck building element to it, where rather than saying this is your pre-built deck, but giving the players the option to build and customize these decks and play them around infantry or vehicles or
Sure. Essentially, it was all from the start. It was always going to be a trading card kind of collectible card, custom deck building game.
Yep.
It started off because I was really into Magic, and as a uni student, Magic cards were really expensive.
Yep.
And I thought it would be cheaper to make my own game, and
Yep.
I was wrong. So deck building and stuff the first versions of the game was just to make 2 playable decks, but it was always the intention from the start to be a deck building kind of customizable game.
Yep. Nice.
Yeah.
I guess people listening are probably saying, what is Wartide? We've talked about it on an episode, but they want to hear it. I know they want to hear it. I can tell. They want to hear it from the creator's mouth themselves. If you could sum up Wartide,
So,
sell it to them.
all right. Wartide is an extendable card game. So you buy your base deck and pre-made expansions. You pick one of 3 factions, the Emperor, which is World War II-y, gunsy, tanksy guys. Kagawa, which is animal folk in giant fighting robots. Or Null, which is a kind and benevolent god that will never hurt anyone and is definitely not some kind of eldritch horror. Storyline-wise, essentially these are different universes in a multiverse, and then through a series of story elements that I can go into if you want. But,
Absolutely.
essentially, the barriers between worlds got ripped apart, and these worlds have all, for various reasons, gone to war with each other. So, the Null started off as a very kind and loving god who his people, he guided them to be happy in all moments. So a voice in the back of everyone's head at every moment telling him exactly what to do and exactly what to say and exactly what to feel at any moment in time. And he was making sure they were happy. And then a few of them were like, do you mind if we, on occasional small decisions, make a bit of free will of our own?
Can I choose what I want to have for lunch?
That is heresy, and you are now destroyed, and so is your entire village, and your entire family, and everything else. And this heresy is everywhere. So he spent generations destroying his universe to try and burn out this heresy of free will.
Yep.
Which has weakened the barriers of his universe, essentially. Meanwhile, Kagawa has got warp technology, where they essentially bounce people just outside the universe around and back into somewhere else. Making lots of little micro holes in the barriers of their universe. And then Emperor created a new type of uninterceptable radio that went on similar technology and accidentally created a homing beacon on the other side of Null and shot a mech
Oh, wow.
through Null universe, ripped open a multiverse, and that's the storyline of the game.
Wow. Nice. Nice.
So yeah, that's roughly where we're at.
That's
the start
amazing.
Of season 1.
So it's all these different universes that are like, I guess they're just, there's a thin barrier between each, and occasionally they overlap. And
yeah, so I kind of imagined this multiverse as imagine a pile of soap bubbles.
Yep.
And then essentially something's just popped right through.
Yep.
At least the first 3, and then that tear's probably going to keep going and expanding into more stuff if the game continues.
Nice.
Please buy my game. We can see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's essentially the start of the storyline, and
Very cool.
hopefully, idea is that the game's going to continue, and in tournaments and what people vote on and what people achieve in various actual gameplay tournaments will then affect where the story goes from there.
I love that. I love the whole tournaments and gameplay affecting the narrative. That's such an awesome idea.
I'm going to somehow try and take your community's 5 parsecs from home and make that into a global thing.
Do it. And
you can visit me in a mental asylum in 6 to 8 months.
We'll put the address in the description below. So what we have here is we have some merch and some decks. So these are the not for public resale pre-release alpha decks. I'm reading that off the back where the barcode is. And these are going to be available at PAX.
Yes. So official launching the Kickstarter 6th of October at day 1 of PAX. So for PAX, we've got 100 of each of the intro decks. They are stamped with pre-release, so if anyone breaks it in between, so I can fix things before the full release.
Nice.
But yeah, we're going to have a little bit of stuff for sale to try and launch the game and get everything started.
Yep.
Yeah, and meanwhile, at the same time, we'll be launching a Kickstarter, and please back, and
yes,
we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, as soon as the Kickstarter is available, we'll let you guys know. We'll put some links on our socials and in the Discord and stuff like that. But man, it's so amazing to see something that's come that's been this idea that's obviously been in your head for a while and been a labor of love to then be here, almost ready to go.
Yeah. Freaking me out.
Yeah, I couldn't even imagine. The nerves must be real.
Stress is high.
Yeah.
At the moment, though, to be honest, there's so much shit I've got to get done.
Yep. Don't
have time to be stressed.
Good. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
The moment I start getting things completed, panic.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it'll be the calm before the storm, and you'll settle down. You'll be like, oh dear God. Fire out, man. And I couldn't even imagine what it's like setting up not only the PAX booth that you've got, a double booth all 3 days.
Yep.
And that's what, 10 a.m. when PAX opens till 11 p.m., right? Or are you shutting early?
10 till 6, I must stay open according to the rules of PAX.
Still 8 hours.
8 hours. Though if there's still people there and stuff going on, it's in the tabletop area that's open till 12 o'clock. I will quite probably be running as long as I can.
Yeah.
Every moment I can get to funnel someone else into a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be some big days.
Yeah.
I've got the next week booked off work afterwards to sleep.
Oh, you're going to need it.
Yep.
Yeah.
The missus has got our anniversary on the Tuesday afterwards, so I've somehow got to revive until that.
Yeah. Yep.
But other than that, I've got a week.
Nice. It's so awesome, man. That's so awesome. So PAX Australia, by the time this goes out, it's going to be in a couple of weeks. It's soon. It's right as of recording. It is less than a month away. It is. It must be coming around real quick.
Okay, stress levels going up when you say it like that.
How else can I put those stress levels up? I bet it's cost an absolute fortune. No, I won't say that.
Look, open book. You can ask whatever you need.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, what do you think the future of Wartide is going to look like? Obviously, you've got these 3 factions now, and you've got sort of the narrative that you want to advance. Are you looking at a yearly thing, or how do you think it's going to go?
Dream world. If everything goes to plan, season 1 will kickstart now.
Yep.
Full launch and release as of June next year.
Okay. Yep.
And the expansion packs for that will be released over a 6-month period.
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, if everything goes really well, end of that 6 months, then start of that'll be 20. I've lost
2024?
2024 next year.
Yep.
So it'll be start of 2025. Then we'd start another 6 months season 2.
Yep.
Expand the story, expand what's going on.
Yep.
And then hopefully just keep going and have 6 month seasons from now until people stop buying.
Nice.
Is the rough plan at the moment.
Yeah. And I guess it's like anything. Like you just got to fly by the seat of your pants, I suppose. Just see what happens, and like you've definitely put in the work. So honestly, I'm so excited to see how it all travels. And I just saw the Kagawa badge, and that looks sick. That looks so awesome.
Yeah. Badges are already for sale.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Website.
So
a little Etsy store that's got the badges.
Nice. Wartide website.
Yes, wartidecardgame.com.
Yep.
All one word.
Yep.
If you just Google Wartide, it'll be the first thing that pops up.
Nice.
Yeah, it used to be a crappy mobile game, and that's dead now. So we've got the top spot. Yeah.
Nice. And I see you've got these play mats here.
Yeah. So this is just the generic one. There are faction ones as well.
Yep.
There's a nice little QR code as well. It'll take you to Linktree with all of the socials and all of the website and everything as well.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll have those. They'll have the decks, the pins, as well as the playmats all for sale at PAX this year.
Yep.
So hopefully someone buys some.
Nice.
Otherwise, my missus will kill me for leaving the boxes of stock in the lounge room for longer. Please.
That's awesome. So to explain like those listening on the game itself. So obviously you've got like each mat has 9 squares, right?
Yep. So
tell me what we do with these squares.
Sure. So it's taken some inspiration from war games as well as other card games and stuff like that. It's a territory control based game. So you've got a home field on the back center row of your battlefield, and then you lay out 8 face down cards into a 3x3 grid. Your opponent does the same, so you end up with like a 3x6 grid. You build units from your hand onto the back row, march them across the battlefield to try and capture your opponent's home base on the other side.
Yep.
That's the simple version of the gameplay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
In the meantime, there's also like event cards that change the shape of things, move things faster, blow things up. You've got bigger and better units. You're trying to increase your resources and increase the money you make each turn. And,
yep.
It gets more and more complicated the more you play.
I like how you've kept that sort of resource management element from obviously the very first iteration.
Yeah.
And you've obviously had that in mind. It's like, I want a currency. I want to be able to spend resources to train, recruit, build units.
Yeah.
It's just really cool to see that still there.
Yeah. Resource management changed slightly from the early things, but that was one of the early things that kind of got locked into place. So, it's a big thing of resource management. You gain resources and can save between turns. So if you, like, I don't know if people have played Magic and stuff, like rather than getting mana screwed and being 1 mana short, it just takes you 1 more turn to get there.
Okay, yep.
In some ways solves that problem.
Yep.
In other ways, you spend 5 turns building something up and someone blows it up and then you're like, fuck. Happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
I'm renownedly bad at my own game. But we're not here to rag on me.
Well.
A little, yeah. Resource management. So different factions as well have got different resources. So you've got Imperia's got most complicated. They've got 3 different resources to manage. Kagawa's in the middle with 2, and Null's just got 1. It's faith or fear. He's not picky on what kind of devotion you give him, so long as it comes.
Faith. Yeah.
Faith. Yeah. Yes. He's not listening. So resource management's a big part of it, and then you're upgrading your fields and upgrading your resource generation to try and keep up with the game as it goes on. Build bigger and better stuff. So you start with your little draft soldiers in Impera and end up with your giant heavy tanks and stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. I'm seeing elements of like RTS, like, Command and Conquer and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
What's been the biggest inspiration for Wartide?
It's taken bits and pieces from all over the place. For people that play card games, there's a lot of elements of Magic that come into it.
Okay.
In a lot of like aspects of turn sequencing and stuff, though it's got a pretty big twist on it. It's got some pretty big twists on it now. Art-wise, there's like all sorts of stuff. Anyone that plays Kagawa will see a couple of cards that shows that I was a big fan of Zoids as a kid. Other than that, I loved miniatures, war games and stuff. I built a card game because I don't know how to 3D model a miniature. But in the movement of units and stuff, there's definitely a very simplified version of like your war games and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, bit of
Nice.
something for everyone, I hope.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So wartidecardgame.com.
Yes.
Nice. Sweet. We'll put a link in the description as well.
Excellent. I hope
Yeah.
I've remembered that right.
If not, I'll put it on the screen. I'll just dub it over.
Yeah. Yes.
Fix it in post. It's been the theme of today, hasn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Awesome. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
That's all right. No worries. You and Nath been busy today. I've just been hitting record and stop on the computer. That's about it.
I appreciate all the work you've done, and fucking great studio here. I must
Thanks,
say,
mate.
honestly, you only see this bit on the screen, but there's a whole lot going on. It's great. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you guys came, and can't wait to see the release.
Thanks so much for having us.
No worries, and we'll see you at PAX. I'll be at PAX. So you guys come into PAX. Make sure you check out Wartide. I'll be lurking somewhere. Fox will be there somewhere too. So, yeah,
Sounds great.
come see us, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers.
Bye.
Woo! Big up to the boys, Fox and Shane. Set your minds free, no locks and chains. Do what you love, roll the dice. 50-50, we cold as ice. One thing cold, but the Peterson